My name is Safi Majumdar, and I'm here to talk about hunger. Let's talk about food. How often do you think about it each day? Hunger has always been present and has only worsened over time. According to KQED, 25,000 people die from hunger each day, and that number has only continued to rise. As humans, food is a bare necessity and a fundamental foundation on which our society is built upon. It's crucial to understand the effects of hunger in developing countries, such as South Asia, Latin America, and Africa, due to the high rates of poverty, forced migration, inequality, effects of climate change, and humanitarian disasters. You might be wondering, how can we solve this issue? Well, to find the solution, we must first understand the causes and roots of this problem. It's important to realize the association with poverty and hunger. The most vulnerable people are the most affected by hunger. Climate change also plays a role in hunger, as environmental disasters often precede famine. It's vital to recognize that food is not a privilege, but a basic human right. No one in this day and age should die of starvation and malnutrition, especially where technology has allowed us to grow food with larger crop yields and in environments where it was previously impossible. Much of the change that needs to happen must come from the grassroots. Nonetheless, there is a role for governmental intervention. While hunger is present throughout the world, it is most apparent where war, disease, and discrimination are most present. Acts like SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program in the U.S., and WIC, the Women's Infant and Children's Program, help provide subsidized food to the most marginalized people in the developed world. But the developed world has a duty to assist in the eradication of hunger globally. Food handouts may temporize hunger, but enabling people by teaching them new skills is a way to a better future. My grandfather tells me, "You can give a man a fish, and he shall eat for a day. But if you teach a man a fish, he shall eat for life." Some of the skills important in the eradication of hunger are the education of long-term food sustainability, modernizing farming practices, and the utilization of technology to grow crops with greater yields and with multiple yields per year. I'm sure many people can relate, but ever since I was little, I was always told to finish my plate, no matter where I was or what I ate. I was raised to always be grateful for what I was given and to always thank God for the food that we were provided. This served as a reminder that even though access to food is a human right, not all children in the world are guaranteed 3 hot meals a day. Being Bengali, hunger and poverty has always been an important global issue to me. During my visits to Bangladesh, I've witnessed poverty to a great extent. I've seen little children scavenging for food, physically and mentally hungry, worn out and tired of begging. My grandfather was born and raised in poverty, and for my grandfather, education was key to get out of hunger and move to the United States. My grandfather now leads the Hunger Project. The Hunger Project in Bangladesh is a volunteer-based organization in the works of combating hunger and poverty. The Hunger Project's goals, as my grandfather describes, is to awaken, mobilize, inspire volunteers, and make civilians speak up for their rights and entitlements. While conversing with my grandfather, he explained how hunger doesn't only mean physical hunger, but it is intertwined with human dignity and rights and basic freedoms. His job is to awaken people so that they can speak up and serve responsibly as citizens. Additionally, I have 2 aunts working in humanitarian reliefs, one of them being Shahira. She documents and assists Rohingyas living in Bengali refugee camps. And in her work, she explains the conditions the Rohingyas endure, and she talks about the systemic violence and the inequality which drove them out their own country, which put them through decades of hunger. My other aunt, Rosanna, works in documenting gender inequality and gender-based violence, addressing the inequality and sexism of these statistics, explaining how women and girls are overrepresented as malnourished and hungry. While conversing with my aunt, she stated that patriarchal societies in many parts of the world means that women and girls have less freedom and lower social status, even within their own homes. During meals, men eat first and get the biggest portions. When food is scarce, women and girls typically eat last and less, if at all, and often aren't given a choice about what food they're offered. Globally, over 150 million more women than men are food insecure. Gender inequality is amongst the root causes of food insecurity. These personal connections drive home the urgency of addressing hunger. When discussing solutions to world hunger, we must remember that hunger is not just a statistic. Approximately 2.4 billion people worldwide experience an element of food insecurity, affecting women and the most marginalized at disproportionate levels. With specific changes, we can alleviate this burden, allowing people to focus on other crucial aspects of their lives, such as housing and education. One solution in combating hunger is creating livelihood opportunities with the government's financial support for local farmers. Farmers are vital in these developing countries. With the government's financial support, farmers could produce more nutritious crops and possibly find more modern innovations to promote sustainable agriculture while also increasing food production. Crop insurance and guaranteed governmental purchases might underwrite some of the costs that farmers might incur. With crop diversification, agriculture can flourish at any time of the year, leading to more nutritious options for local communities. Another important part in combating hunger is the regulation of food waste. In America alone, each year, 119 billion pounds of food is wasted. That equates to 130 billion meals and more than $408 billion in food thrown away each year. Shockingly, nearly 40% of all food in America is wasted. A third of all food produced each year is squandered or lost before it can even be consumed. There are laws in France which attempt to regulate food waste, such as France's food waste bill. This bill bans supermarkets from wasting unsold food, requiring supermarkets to sign contracts to distribute the unsold food to charities. It's obvious that with proper regulations, the amount of food lost could significantly decrease hunger. Another element which adds to the problem is how we buy in bulk, but also waste in bulk. And with the amount of food Americans waste, it should be a huge concern to this country. In addition, us civilians must take a stand and raise awareness about this issue. Average Americans live a fairly sheltered life, which can make it hard to fully grasp what other countries are going through. We as a society need to be more in tune on how rampant hunger is throughout the world. I guarantee you that if you came to me to Bangladesh and interacted with the hungry women and children, you would think differently about the food you throw away. To support the combating of world hunger, there are many organizations to donate or even support. Action Against Hunger, the Hunger Project, Heifer International, Rise Against Hunger, and the World Food Program are great places to find more information and resources on how you can help combat hunger and waste less. Lastly, empowering our community is extremely important. My 10-year-old sister raised $500 for the Hunger Project a couple months ago. She sold paper cranes to her school friends, family, and mainly strangers. Surah sold cranes as a class project, but this was something that she felt she could educate her classmates about. This is also the reason that I'm using my platform to talk to you about hunger. Even if you can't donate money to these organizations I mentioned above, there are other things you can do, such as increasing sustainability in your daily life, being cognizant of food you waste and your carbon footprint, and supporting local farmers by buying your food from them. In conclusion, the issue of world hunger is a multifaceted problem that demands immediate attention and action. The staggering statistics and personal stories underscore the urgency in addressing this crisis. To combat hunger effectively, we must realize and equally address the problems of poverty, overpopulation, climate change, and marginalization. Governments and organizations play a crucial role in providing support and resources to those in need, but individual efforts are equally important. Supporting local farmers, regulating food waste, and raising awareness are concrete steps we can take in making a difference in creating a world free of hunger. Thank you.